What's up, everybody? What's up? I don't know. Can y'all hear me? I don't know if y'all can hear me. I got other stuff playing in the background. I don't know where it's coming from. Okay, there we go. I think. There we go. How are y'all doing today? This, did y'all watch it? This was crazy, this episode. It was crazy, this episode. I was in tears in some parts. In some parts, I was rooting for things. It was so many different emotions with this episode. So I'm just gonna talk about it. I wanna, see who's here. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Um this is Moochilla's Reviews. We're talking about Interview with a Vampire. This episode was called I Could Not Prevent It. So he's like, and that was Armand's words. That was his quote of the episode. I could not prevent it. I don't know how much y'all want to believe it, but certain things with this, I have questions about. I feel like I don't know if we could trust dude. I really don't. I don't know if we could trust him. Matter of fact, speaking of that, get into the vote for today for the poll. The poll's question is right now: whose version do you believe? Louis, the sat side, Louis side, the truth. So that's that. So you know how they say my side, your side, and then the truth. That's the last choice. So it's who do you believe? Do you believe Lestat? Do you believe Louis? The stat side, my side, your side, the truth. So that's where it is. Cast your vote, scroll up to the top, hit that like bell, hit the share. Put me up in that algorithm, y'all, and holla at your girl. Let's talk about it. What did y'all think of it though? I thought this was a good episode. It was so full of emotion and anticipation on Lestat and Louis seeing each other after all of these years. So yeah. Okay, you already casted your vote? Okay. This whole thing was crazy. The trial that was set up, the deception, the betrayal. Me myself personally, I think Armand was with this whole thing. Whatever he told Louis was a lie as far as him writing some play and all of that. I don't believe that. He's like a real, he's real jacked up dude. So yeah, I got a problem with dude. Yeah, so I got a problem with him. So I'm gonna see what are y'all thoughts. So hold on. Let me move this to the top. Let me move me to the top. Yeah, that's how we gonna do. In this case, Moochie, it's Lestat side, Louis side, and Armand side. Yeah, this is true. I should have, you know what? I should change the question up. We're gonna put Armand because he's lying too. Matter of fact, just because you said it that way, I'm gonna keep the vote in. But that last vote, it has to do with Armand. I can't change it because I would have to take it down. But please put that in. All right. All right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm live. I'm trying to multitask. I can't do that. I have to, you know. Anywho, moving on. I thought this that he was deceptive the whole way as far as like Armand. Yeah, He's deceptive the whole thing. You can't believe nothing he say. And we noticed that with the last episode with the whole thing in San Francisco, but I'll put a pin in that. We're going to get to that later. Anywho, moving on. It's just like, even when he set him up, he knew it. But I think he realized how far it was going to go because he wanted to get Claudia out the picture. That's how I feel. How do y'all feel about it? Because I feel like he wanted to get Claudia out the picture. Yeah, so he wanted to get him out the picture. They got Daniel trapped in their twisted triangle of it. Yeah, they do. But do you think he believes? I don't think he believes any of them. And Louis is trying to be truthful now after the fact. And I think he's starting to wake up out of the slumber that Armand has put him in. Does that make sense to y'all? Because that's how I see it. I could be wrong. I could be right. You know how that goes. Did y'all see how they grabbed him? We saw how he grabbed him from the table. But then we see, though, Louis was fighting this whole thing. But they did a number on them. They sliced their Achilles heel down to the tendon where they couldn't even stand up. And you know how they heal fast. But they said by the time they heal, they're going to be already gone. Or, they did that to slow them down with fighting. And we already know that, like, the stat said from the beginning, Claudia is going to be a weak vampire because she's still a child. So she's not going to have the strength to drain people. She has strength to drain people, but she can't turn them and things like that. So that was crazy. I'm going to ask y'all this. Do y'all think that Daniel Malloy is going to make it out of this alive? It's like he knows too much. He knows too much. They're he knows too much, and there's no way I don't think he could get out of this. Do you see them turning him? Because remember, Louis was intrigued by him back in San Francisco, but that was what, maybe 20, 30 years ago? I don't know. Because he's like an old man now. He was a young up-and-coming reporter when all of this was going on. So yeah, that's my thing with Daniel Malloy. This was crazy. Only one performance, and the performance was in the daytime, y'all. The performance was in the daytime. And then they had the whole setup. They brought Louis down. They had all of Claudia's diaries, which was everything that he told her. They was telling her not to save these books and stop writing in them. Lestat talked about it in the first season. But he was the type of person that didn't harp on rules with them because he didn't like following those rules himself. So, I could understand that. Yeah, Madeline just suffered the consequences. I felt like she was like a casualty in this whole situation, but she went out like a G2 though. They got, yeah, I read that. Okay. Armand is trying to rewrite his vampire history. You are not. I absolutely agree with you on that one. He is. In this case, yeah. Okay, I already said that. Remember, scroll up to the top and cast the vote, and I'm gonna get on with it. Did y'all see how many times Lestat veered off script, and Santiago was mad at him? He was mad at him because the way he kept veering off that script, and he knew. I think once he got there, he felt kind of guilty after the fact. Like, I came here and yeah, I want to take him out. But now that I see him, and now that this is on trial and we're talking about our feelings and stuff, I don't think I really feel this totally that way. But Claudia, he wanted her to go. It seemed like Armand and Luke and Lestat both wanted Claudia to go. I love Lestat. One thing for sure, he's going to tell it. If you thought Luke, look, I'm gonna tell y'all this. Look, let me come all the way on screen for this. Let me come all the way on screen for this. If you watch the first season and you saw how Louis broke down their whole love story, you was intrigued by it then. But when you got Lestat's version, baby, he had you with a ball full of emotions too. A ball full of emotions too. Do y'all believe that he was really held captive? Do y'all believe that? Did you see how he was put in his trance? How he put Madeline in a trance? Where she wasn't even, it was like she was hypnotized. She was in, I don't know where she was. And keep in mind, she's considered a young vampire, so she don't have that much powers, even though she's an adult. But it was like she was in a trance, the whole time. She wasn't even aware of everything that was going on till they got to the middle of the thing. And she said, "We're on trial." She didn't know what was going on. I really felt bad for Madeline. I felt bad for her. And it was just messed up the way they did that. They had all of Claudia's evidence, though. She kept that book of his last words, and he sworn it. It just was. It was just crazy, and Lestat manipulated the story too, because when they telling the story and they got the circles going around him, how he's telling it, it really was the opposite way around. He was hypnotizing Louis. He could get inside his head. He was immortal then. So you know they powers, but keep in mind the audience is oblivious to this and they don't believe all of this. They think this is just for show. Just for show. I like this part, but the part that I like the most was, even though he's not supposed to show his powers like that, Lestat don't care. You see how he rolled up on this soldier and showed him how much of a coward he really was? And now all his comrades know it too? Okay. Okay, so Armand was held captive by his own violation. Faker. If he could put that table of vampires to sleep like nothing, he could have knocked the whole room out. That's what I said. Remember when Louis, did that whole thing with Santiago, when he took his tongue, pulled his tongue out his mouth and stretched that joker? Now, I'm gonna give y'all a foreshadowing moment too with this also. You know what's my foreshadowing moment? When Lestat explained how he met Louis and how Louis was a brawler. They forgetting how, some of that stuff you take with you. Most of that just stuff you take with you when you change over, so they say. So you gonna got this dude, man. And he's going to come back for vengeance. We already know that. Now, I got a question for y'all. If you did the interview with a vampire, if you read the book or saw the movie with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, you didn't get this much details in the story. In this version, you get all the details. You get all the details in the story. So yeah, I like this version of it because it's so much emotion. There's so much that you're getting out of this story where we didn't get the whole part of this if you read the book or if you saw the movie. In the movie, we just saw the whole, it was a trial, but it wasn't in depth like this. It was rushed. But this, we got the whole caboodle. Okay? I'm live on Rumble. I'm live on Facebook. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Keep in mind, scroll up to the top and cast your vote. And let's keep it moving. And so yeah, I with this thing, whose version do you believe? Whose version do you believe? Do you believe Lestat or do you believe Louis? Now, we got that. Remember the fight? The fight, it seemed like he was a whole victim because he wanted to leave. And it was a back and forth thing. But in this fight, it looked like Louis was the aggressor with this. Just like when Louis told how Claudia was turned, it was like he was begging Louis, he was begging Lestat to do it because and then promised not to leave. And then y'all turn around and have this fight because you're going to talk about going to France with Claudia. So now I understand why Lestat was so livid with the whole situation. How did y'all feel about him telling Malloy that Lestat's version was the truth and he may have got things? I was glad he was honest with it. I was glad he was honest with it. I felt bad for Claudia too because she didn't know what she was getting into. She was innocent in all of this. But did you see it? She felt betrayed by Louis when she found out how she truly was turned. And it was just like, oh man. Okay, so you said Louis was no joke as a human. That's why Lestat liked him. Yes, exactly. Louis was in such turmoil over his. Yeah. He was. Yes, he was with who he was and coming out that he couldn't love Lestat out loud. Exactly. And then we find out he was lying too. Because remember, if you watch the first season when he followed him when he was with that soldier he was with from back in the day. And then he said, now I see you have a type. Do y'all remember that? So yeah. It's like we see Louis being exposed as a liar sometimes. But I think it was out of shame with certain aspects of it. Yeah. So what was y'all thoughts? I didn't know the way they had the judges set up, the court set up, and all of that with the rest of the coven as judges. That was crazy to me because most of the coven didn't like Louis. They didn't like him at all. They felt like he was stuck up. They felt like he was stuck up. And I think, like I said, I think Claudia went out like a G. When she called out everybody, so she said, I'm going to remember all of y'all faces. I'm gonna remember all your faces. Even Lestat, like the way she stood up like that. And that's what he loved about her. He says everything. He was truthful with everything to me, Lestat, because he said, she took after she had my predator ways, and Louis babied her like a daughter. And it is true. He did coddle her like that was a daughter and a sister at the same time. Okay, he has been brainwashed to believe the version of the story that Armand fed him. This subdued version of Louis is a mirror image of Armand. So I'm going to ask y'all this. Do you think that he's going to resent Armand now that all of this is coming out? All of this is coming out. He did save his life. Just he might feel obligated to him just off of that. And they felt like Armand gave Louis too much leeway. Yup. Remember, she slept in Louis' casket for a long time. Yup. So you saying he will resent him for that? I believe so too. I believe so too. I believe so too with this show. Like I said, this episode was fire to me. Because it only sets us up for the next one. Because the next episode look like that Joker gonna be off the hook. If this was 2 times better than the whole trial that they had in the book and the movies, it's just gonna be like a chef's kiss with the next one. So if you have not watched Interview with a Vampire, y'all need to tune into this. Y'all need to tune into this. I'm gonna go back to something else. What did y'all think about Lestat confronting that soldier? Even though I talked about it already, but this part, I was like, he made the whole room silent too. So you know what? I want to ask y'all, because of this, do y'all remember the part where they changed it in? They wasn't going to delete him. They decided to banish him. Do you think that was all Armand, or was that Lestat too? Because to me, I feel like it was both of them, but he was trying not to make it so obvious. Because when he talked about dropping him out of the sky, and I'm glad he said it and he apologized to him and he looked at him when he apologized. I like the way he was correcting Santiago. I like the way he was correcting him with stuff. He wasn't gonna let him just like they wanted to just take him out, and they didn't want any objection with anything. They didn't want him to have no say so. They didn't want him to speak. But being that they brought Lestat there, Lestat gave a sincere apology, and he said he thought about it. So I think all of that time, he said he can't read his mind because he's his maker. But I think all of that time, he how can I say it? He had remorse for how everything happened. He had remorse for how everything happened. Lestat. Okay. Lestat did look over at Armand. Maybe they have done it together and Armand took the credit. I could see that happening because he didn't want to be obvious, because those people in that coven, they basically worship him. They had a shrine to him and all of that. Because if it wasn't for him, they'd still be in the caves. Nope. So yeah, I thought that was that was my take on it. But that whole trial when he stopped them from talking and they was getting ready to say, the deletion word, because this is YouTube. I can't say what really happened. So deletion. So let's say that. When the whole crowd said it for Claudia with no problems. And it seemed like to me, they wanted her to go. They wanted her to get put out of her misery. And I think Armand knew that this was I think Armand knew this was going to happen from the beginning. That's why he was so against turning Madeline. I think that's why he was so against turning Madeline. So he says, I could not prevent it. Do y'all believe him? I could not prevent it. Do y'all believe him? I don't. I don't. I don't believe him with this. And I'm gonna ask, do y'all? I don't even think Daniel Malloy believe him. And he uses this thing like, I don't like to use my powers. BS. Yes, you do. You like to use it without nobody knowing. He stopped the room right before they took Louis too. That cafe that they was at, where they was all talking right before they took them, he stopped at all of the motion in that room too. He stopped everybody but Louis. And he couldn't understand what was going on until it was too late. Yeah, he been lying to him. When they took Louis and we see this is the last time that Claudius knows he's going, she sees banishment, but they don't know what that is. But I think Claudia knew he was going in those caskets that don't come out. She knew that because remember, she had joined the coven, so she knew the rules. She knew what happened if you defied him. She knew where he went, and I think that's why she was like this is the last time she sees him. This was so sad, yo. It was so sad. It was crazy. All right, Daniel trying to play it cool. He trying to play it cool. And he is keeping his cards close to his chest, but I think it's too late. He think he got Rashid on board too, but Rashid is with them. He already scared of them. He's only gonna tell them what they want to know. Now, as far as Raglan, I don't trust him either. I think he either part of him or part of Lestat. For him to say the one you really need to be afraid of is Louis, when he said that the last episode, I still don't think Daniel Malloy got it. I still don't think he got it. Why didn't or could the coven scramble Armand's thoughts and words? Because they not strong enough. He's just like I don't believe he said he never turned anybody. I think that's a lie. Because I think that coven, most of those people he turned. Well, no, they sent him to take over a coven. So maybe he is telling the truth about it. That was his version, though. So I don't know. Okay, so Rashid and Daniel both might be in major trouble at this point. I could see that. I could see that. Do you see them turning Daniel Malloy? Because he almost got the gift last time. What's your thoughts? I mean, he almost ended up in a pine box too. Well, not a pine box, plastic wrap. If you have not, scroll up to the top and cast your vote. this is the poll question. Whose version do you believe? So it's Lestat, Louis, and Armand is included in with that. Okay. Hey, girl.
Mm, I don't
So
even
I'm gonna
know.
ask you this question:
Hmm.
Who's more of the liar here?
Uh, I definitely think Armand is a liar. I just don't believe nothing that come out his mouth. Honestly, I mean, if it is anything true, the way I said it when I was talking about it, and just how I feel off of what we've seen so far, I feel like he has the least amount of truth in him. I'm kind of giving Louis the side eye too, but because the way I always look at things is, even if me and you experience something, we're gonna both see it in our way. We could both go through the same thing, but you're gonna have your way you see it, and I'm gonna have my way I see it. But then on top of that, Louis case, I feel like his mind, I don't think it was just wiped one time. I think it's been several times. And that probably has the impact as well with it being wiped so many times of why he don't have his memory fully. So he's saying what he think is right, but it may not necessarily be right because of that. And then when we got Lestat coming and now telling his story, I was kind of bugging. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I know I haven't, seen the first season in a minute, but I don't remember it going that way. And I'm like, maybe I need to revisit it. And even Louis was going like, that's not what happened. But then when he gets to the part of how they
Turn
did
Claudia.
with Claudia, he was like, well, damn, that is what happened. He's not lying. And even Claudia was asking, like, is that, the way that it went? So for him to tell Daniel, I think you really should listen to Lestat's version and write Lestat's version when you write in this story. I feel like Lestat is telling the most truth out of everybody. And maybe if you took a piece from each one of them, then you would have the full picture. Like that's the way I look at it.
I
I don't
look at
know.
it like that too, to a certain extent, because we
Mm-hmm.
know that he was getting inside Louis' head.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think he separated him from his brother too. I still think he made his brother walk off that roof.
Oh, I never thought about it like
Yeah,
that.
because that was the night they met. And it
Yeah.
was like he
Mm-hmm.
seen him. And remember, Louis pulled the knife on him in the street. Like that was something that wasn't his relative. He just told him to go home, bruh. But
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part I remember.
I think he did that because he knew that would he alienated him. Because he went
Mm-hmm.
into a depression when his brother died.
Yeah. But I also think that's why Louis still acts the way he acts to a certain degree as a vampire. I think that a piece of that was like in him as far as the depression, as far as him getting frustrated. Because think about, the times that they was living in and everything they was dealing with. And there's still that part of the humanity that's in him. That's why sometimes he, kind of struggles and goes back and forth with how he feels about things or how he doesn't go and on the hunt like they do, as far as not wanting to hurt humans or do it in a certain way that some of the other vampires might do it or whatever. I think that's still a part of him and his personality at the same time too, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit of truth of it in each of them. But I feel like right now we may have like the most of it from the stat, and then some things may be mixed up for Louis. And I feel like that part comes from them just wiping his mind over and over and over. Like if his mind was never wiped, how much more of the memories would he have? I'm gonna always second guess that now because I definitely don't think it was just that one time. I think Armand has been doing that on a regular basis. And he
I
claims that
agree.
Louis asked him to do it, but that could be true. But I just don't trust him now no more.
So I'm gonna ask you this question: do you think that this is gonna cause this might be a breakup with their relationship now? I know we talked about
Between
it. Okay, between Louis and Armand, because he's discovering how much he's lying to him. And Daniel Malloy pointed it out because he was like, ain't no way in heck we gonna have the same exact memories from this point. So he did not only did
exactly.
he wipe your memory, he wiped mine too.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Lemon Kush Pepper?
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't trust him. I feel like I don't understand why Louis even still with him now. That's why I feel like he does have a power over him, and it does have to do with him wiping his memory. Because for him to really sit here and be like, "Oh, but he saved me and he helped me and he was a prisoner like us and he couldn't help it," and this been the love of my life for all these years. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I think he literally have been playing Louis this whole daggone time. Probably because he knows that Louis has loved Lestat in a way that he does not, have that same kind of love for him. And also that Lestat loved Louis in a way that he never loved them on, even though they all damn toxic. I don't know. It's definitely a jealousy there with him.
Yeah, it
He
is. What
even
did you?
have a jealousy with Daniel too. He have a jealousy with that.
He did. He had to
Hmm.
remember when they was in San Francisco, because me and you didn't talk about that episode at all. When they was in San Francisco, he was mad. He was upset with him because he had over 100 and something people back there. Each man he took out.
Hmm.
He didn't even sleep with him. They just talked all night,
Right.
and that really pissed him off.
Yeah.
And then for him to talk about Lestat all night long,
Hmm.
and he was like, "You uttering his name in my house, Lestat, 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 Lestat." When he did that,
Yes, that was a funny episode too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I wonder if Armand has rewritten things in Claudia's journals to help convince Louis of his version of what happened. Damn, that's a good
Hmm.
question.
That is a good question. I
That's
wouldn't
a
put
good
it past
question.
him for the simple fact that we see it was pages missing. Some he
Mm-hmm.
say he took out for protection or because why should he, have to put himself out there? Whatever nonsense he says to Daniel. But I would not. And then some Louis even told him to get rid of, but then he said no, he wanted to see them again because he wanted to have the full picture. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't put nothing past
Now
Armand. Like
that you
now
said
he made
that,
me not trust him.
Lenore, shouts out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you said that, remember, I don't know if y'all remember when he did the part that you just said, when he went back
Mm-hmm.
and said, I want to see those pages. He could have did that because he's that crafty. You know, they real magical with they stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm just
And
saying
that's
that.
what frustrates me with our mom because first we didn't know the extent of, well, I could let me speak for myself. I didn't know the extent of his powers and how powerful he is. And then we see him do all these extra things when he wants to, but then when it's of a convenience, all of a sudden, oh, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. It's like, how, Sway, how you gonna tell me you ain't know
And
when
that's what
we
I'm
are,
saying.
yeah.
You absolutely right about that. You mean to tell me you got up and walked to the door because you felt Santiago coming. You stopped everything and froze everything because you knew they was gonna be abducted. Because you know they can't have people seeing what's going on.
Right.
So you
Mm-hmm.
can't tell me that you wasn't part of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now that Louis is getting the story again, and not to I still gotta mention Raglan, the other guy that when they go to the sushi bar and the guy is there talking to Daniel undercover Raglan.
Yes, yes.
He already knows how dangerous Louis is. I want to know what how can I say this? I want to know how they gonna freak this because did you see the movie?
Yes. It's been a long time, but I've seen it. I got it in here somewhere.
They rushed through that. You know what? We might have to do a rewatch of that. We have to.
Hmm.
Especially
Hmm.
once this season is over, we're gonna do a rewatch of that and talk about it. Because I feel like with that movie, it was rushed. With this, we got so much of the details about their relationship. We never saw that fight that they had. He said it
Yeah.
was just a lot of pushing back and forth. And when he described the fight, he said it was just a lot of pushing back and forth, and I restrained myself. He said he tried to restrain himself for a long time with that fight.
Yeah.
he said, but it was like when he said that last thing to him, how he was gonna take him out.
Yeah, Louis was going in now. Louis tries to restrain himself at times too, but it's like once he get on 100, ain't no stopping him. He be ready. He told him he's about to go feed him to the lions, tigers, and bears,
Yeah, he
baby.
feed you to the. He said, I'm gonna take your head off, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna roll it to the zoo and
The
feed it to the
zoo.
lion.
Yes, I
When
was
he
like,
said
oh.
that, and he did that, that all of that, I was like, oh man.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the guy I remember from House of Game of Thrones, because you
Yeah.
know how he was that warrior in that
Yes.
the actor. So it's like,
Yes.
yo, it was so much energy with this episode. And to me, if you thought Lestat, I mean, if you thought Louis told the story, a love story where it had you happy and tears and stuff like that, Lestat
Yeah.
was too. Lestat had
Mm-hmm.
you emotional too, especially when he gave him that apology. Did you think the
Yeah.
apology was sincere for him dropping him out of the sky?
I think it was, and that part made me laugh because, of course, Santiago didn't want him to, go there. He just trying to have them on trial and prove his point and have them be guilty. So he was like, "Yeah, you ain't know what you was doing, and you ain't meant for it to be that way." And he came up and he's like, "No, I did know, and I did hurt him, and he was never the same." So he was able to come to that realization. Like once they looked in each other's eyes, it was a wrap. Because if you notice, at first Lestat wasn't looking him in the eyes, and he wasn't looking Lestat in the eyes.
When he turned, because remember he was like, "Oh, notice that he pointed to Louis Lestat."
Yes, and he was like,
Louis,
"No, I
Louis,
didn't want
the,
that." That was
Louis
funny.
the left. Like when he said he pointed to him,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "No, I did not point. I glanced."
Right.
And that was it. I glanced his way. Stop trying to embellish the
Mm-hmm.
story. And he didn't want him to. He didn't want him to humanize him by saying his name. You know how they
Right.
do that with trials and stuff. I like that
Yes.
they pointed that part out.
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so all right. So this episode was fire. Yeah, it was.
It
They was
was. I
giving us
enjoyed
high
it.
theater. Yeah, I got chills. I cried with this. What about you, Tamika?
Yeah. I cried like a baby with Claudia. Forget about it. But I even got emotional when Lestat was talking. And to me, they've been getting better and better with every episode. I've really been enjoying this. I think they're doing a great job. And I forget the actor name. I think it's Sam Reed that plays Lestat. Baby, he came to act. Okay, he ain't playing no games. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Santiago thought he was gonna steal the show, but I said no, baby. Lestat is in the building.
Yes. What did you think of how they had everything? They had that whole thing on display to take her out. Well, I knew it was gonna be something going down when they
Yeah,
had they don't usually do plays in the daytime.
right.
They usually either do one matinee, but they don't do it,
Mm-hmm.
and it must be a day that they don't feed us, whatever.
Right.
But I know with this, when they put him in this coffin, oh baby, I just was
Yeah.
like, oh man. And he
I
was
felt so
screaming.
bad.
I felt bad
Mm-mm-mm.
too. So let's talk about the final act.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh,
That broke my heart. And even Magdalene, even though we didn't get like, that much of her, she wasn't around for that long. And I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you had already spoke about it, but
mm-mm.
them giving her the choice and saying, well, you didn't really know everything, so you can either join the coven or get that. And you kind of see Claudia nod, like if she's telling her like it's okay if you do, say you want to join the coven. But she was like, no, I choose her, she is my coven. And I feel like
Mm.
that meant a lot to Claudia because that's been her main thing. Like she never felt like anybody was choosing her,
Yeah,
even
and
at
that's what
that point
she.
when Lestat was talking, she says
Mm-hmm.
it's always still about y'all too. Like she was still talking her mess to the bitter end. I love me some Claudia, boy.
Yeah. What
So
did you
I
think
thought,
about her with the telling a guy in the back to take his hat off.
Yeah, when she said, "I see all y'all faces," I said when I was doing my recap that reminded me of until you do right by me, everything you think about gonna crumble. She let them know, like, if it's an afterlife, I'm coming for all of y'all. Okay, I'm gonna be taking every last one of y'all down. So yeah, now I
She
get
was
to see
saying
all y'all faces.
she was
Hmm.
also saying you didn't. He had a chance to apologize. Why can't I?
Right,
When
like you
she said
forgive
that
him.
broke my
Hmm.
heart, yo.
Yes.
Knew she was a kid. That's what I'm saying. She was like, he was like, you see how she came back and manipulated the situation because she saw what kind of turmoil Louis and my relationship was in. Do you think she took advantage of that? I can't hear you, Tamika.
Hello, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I had got a call.
Oh, it's all right. I
What
said,
you were saying?
do you think that that dad, you make me forget my question. I said, do you think that I felt like Lestat felt sorry for her after when she said the whole thing about he apologized. Why can't I apologize?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I say I'm sorry about what happened?
Right. Yeah.
I
But
felt
she
like
was
they
like,
could have.
she
I'm
said,
sorry.
yeah, we gave him, yeah, we poisoned him, but he's still here. He all right. Did he die? He's still standing here. Because Cincy was like, oh, see, that's an admission. She's over here admitting to it. And it's like, yeah, I did do that. But he's here and he's okay. Like, you will take his act, him saying he's sorry. And then even Lestat said, I'm guilty. If they're guilty, I'm guilty too. You know what I mean? So it was like he admitted it as well. And then she made a very valid point with that. If I stand here and say, I'm sorry, will y'all forgive me and let me go? No. And when Madeline was like, is this a trial? And she said, no, this is a stoning. Because she
Mm-hmm.
knew, like, we know what was about to happen. Oh, Lord.
Okay, so somebody says something. Where's that comment about Santiago? I just saw it. I don't know. It's like the chat started going real fast. Okay, let me put us up here because I can't see the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Lestat wasn't angry when he dropped Lewis. He was heartbroken and hurt. He was because he's like, yo, you told me if I turned this girl, you was gonna never leave me,
Mm-hmm.
and you leave her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Causing all this drama. You done made me turn this little girl, and now you gonna leave me after I begged you. Okay. He begged on his knees to turn her. That's why I think she felt betrayed the most by that. Because now you don't ask to turn me, and now you leaving with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So who's the most messed up in all of this?
I don't know because they all have they things like Louis definitely they all toxic in different ways like
Okay, I'm gonna put it to you in a better way. When he said, okay, we know they all toxic in their own ways, right?
mm-hmm.
But do you think that Lestat said it? He said I broke him when I dropped him.
Yeah.
Do you think that he was messed up from that point on, or he was messed up before that?
uh I think it's a little bit of both. I think he definitely was already messed up when he, first found him, but that definitely changed him and probably made him worse in a lot of ways. I mean, you see it brought up a lot. You see him bring it up. You see Claudia bring it up. Armand definitely did not get the same person that Lestat got, and on top of that, it's like he would never love him the way that he loved Lestat. And even Lestat had his own heartbreak with Nicholas before that, and then stayed
I'm
underground
glad
for
you
like
mentioned
100
that.
years, and then
I'm
came. You
glad
know
you
what I
mentioned
mean?
that. Now, getting to that. We saw aha moment. Is this a foreshadowing moment when we saw him look across and said that Armand aided in the hand of taking out his last person, his lover. Do you think that, because remember, he didn't want to turn him. He was just human walking around with him.
Yes.
And Armand tried to turn him and it didn't work. He was all right in the beginning, but then he went crazy.
Yes.
Do you remember Daniel Malloy asking Louis, did he have schizophrenia? Was he schizophrenic?
Right.
That's, what do you think? Do you think they're putting things together like that now? Because remember, he kept hearing he's hearing voices and this and that. I just think it's just his feelings that he had for Lestat. He still had a whole bunch of confusion with that because he really never wanted to take him out. He just wanted to just walk away from dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. I think like I said, that the human Louis, I feel like already had different issues, and some of those issues are still with him as a vampire. But then, of course, since he's been living the vampire life and everything he's went through, and that has impacted him in different ways. If he was just a human and he was going to, a doctor, then they probably would diagnose him with a couple of different things. But because he's a vampire, it's different, So I don't really know how to look at that part. But I can understand why Daniel would look at it that way and say what he's saying.
Lenore got me going, Louis crazy as hell.
He do have his issues. We can't act like he don't. We can't act like Louis don't be wilding out.
I think you know what it was? Remember, she called him an angel, and that was right after his mother said, look, the devil is here.
Right.
So I think that's why it played so much on his psyche, because that was the last thing his mother said to him. Look, he done showed his face here now. Here's the real person, the devil. Right. And she said that to him. Yes, it's always this way with Louis and his relationships. Armand could have gotten Sam to rest and saved everyone if he wanted to. Armand is a very dark character.
I agree.
I do. He is. Agree. I think he's diabolical, because I feel like he orchestrated all of that from the night they came there.
Yeah.
He did it from the night he came there to me. He knew about him being with Lestat from that night.
Yeah, even when I think it was the last. I mean, even when the last episode, I think it's the last episode, y'all. But y'all know what I'm talking about. When they're going over the play and he's sitting in the audience, and the whole time that he's in the audience, Santi is busy multitasking and sending them on missions, and they doing all of this. And it's like, how did you not know? How you didn't read their minds or anything? Oh, well, I was so wrapped up in Louis. I was so in love. Like, give me a freaking break. I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
Just like the thing with those last words that Claudia and Madeline was speaking. He said, "Oh, I didn't get that because my mind was with Louis at the time." I call hogwash on that too.
Exactly. Lies, lies, lies. I don't believe one word. And we only have his damn story as far as, what was the last thing with Claudia, and I hate that.
Okay, so she Antigone H. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Joanna, do you? I think he did have the capability to stop it. Like you said, he had the capability to stop it as an ancient vampire. He's passive. Let it happen. I think there was a selfish motive that Louis Paramus seemed to get jealous of Claudia. They both was jealous of Claudia.
Yes, so absolutely.
Armand was too.
Yes.
But he was jealous of the fact that Louis still babied her, because he was like, you want to do all of this. She joined the coven, and now she wants to leave, and she wants to have a companion too. I think that's why he was.
Yeah, he never liked Claudia. That's why he wasn't gonna be worried about saving her regardless. He wanted it to just be him and Louis.
Yeah, I agree, and I think he knows how mad Louis gonna get, because he seen how everything played out at that restaurant when he yanked his tongue out his mouth and pulled it. He seen how everything was gonna happen then. and I think he did like, let me let this play out.
Yeah, Louis about to get it on and popping with them. They ain't seen nothing yet, honey. They laughing now, but they ain't gonna be laughing for long. I'll tell you that.
Lewis went from a pimp to a deal in the 70s with Daniel. Chicken and chow mein and boy game Lewis. Armand couldn't get rid of Claudia fast enough. Not to mention, he wouldn't tell Lewis what Lestat was saying when he contacted him telepathically. Yup, especially that was back in San Francisco.
Exactly.
I want to know if we're gonna see. Do y'all think we're gonna see Lestat again? Because he's still alive, y'all.
That's what I want to know.
When we saw the last episode with Malloy's story, we know that Lestat is still alive. And that was in the 70s.
That's what I want to know. I definitely want to see him again. Yeah, that's my question.
Okay, let me go to this one. It's always this way with Lewis and his relationships. Okay, I read this one already, right? Yeah, I read that one already. My bad. I think Lewis was depressed. He fell back in love with Lestat before the attempted deletion. I believe he did too, but he wanted to he that night, remember she had to smack him and bite him to get himself in gear to complete everything that night. Remember she had to dance with him because they was kissing in the middle of the floor with all those people there?
Yeah.
Anywho. I want to know how he gonna take out Santiago because I know that's gonna be a fight. That's gonna be
he
a fight.
about to put it on him. He about to put it on all of them. Trust and believe.
Keep in mind, it's 19 vampires and one of him. I think he gonna wake up. He gonna wait till they have one of their nights where they be tired after they feed or something. I want to know how long he gonna stay in that coffin like that.
I don't know. I don't know how much time is gonna pass, but I'm gonna tell you one thing: he gonna get up out of there, baby, and cause some havoc. Okay, burn it all down. I want to see it. I can't wait to see it.
Oh yeah, he is salty because Lestat used him. I think that's the only reason why he took up with Louis, because he knew that when you can't tell me that when Louis looked up and saw that picture in the theater that he didn't get goosebumps and stuff. You can't tell me he didn't feel emotions of being scared that they know him.
Oh yeah,
because this is the place he told them not to go. Remember, he was saying, "Look, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. It's a drag, and this, and he was speaking about so much negative things about going there." Okay, so she says, remember, Lewis didn't know whom Claudia gave the poison to, and he cut Lestat's throat to let the poison bleed out. So you think you think he knew he was saving him? I think he did it, but he couldn't follow through with it after. That's why he put him back in his coffin, like he said. And I think that's the only reason. I think that's why he wants to spare him too, because to me it seemed like he knows what he's thinking too. I think he be lying about stuff too, Lestat. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's why I said I think it's a combination. I really don't think it's like a black and white one thing. I feel like, sometimes we all tell ourselves something, or we'll make a story a certain way to make ourselves look a certain way. And that's why I always say his side, your side, and the truth is in the middle. Like, definitely it'd be some stuff that he lies about too, whether it's to himself or to other people. Hey, Matthew Wilson, I didn't even know you be watching this. Okay, what's
Damn.
going on?
Okay. Armand was fronting his power, talking about they would take him out. Meanwhile, he sent power of suggestion over almost all of them. Yeah, I believe he was
Mm-hmm.
bluffing. He could have stopped this whole thing. But he let it play out because he knew Claudia was going to be gone with this.
Mm-hmm.
No, the slat didn't know Lewis was saving him. Daniel called it out at the end of the last
Yeah,
season.
Daniel did say that. He
Mm-hmm.
did. Daniel be calling them out on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think his days is numbered, yo. I think his days is numbered. So, do y'all want to address anything else before we get up out of here? I want to do the trailer breakdown. I'm gonna come back tomorrow and do the trailer breakdown, y'all, at 9. And we'll and I'm gonna have some trivia questions for y'all. So get y'all thoughts together. Don't forget we doing Mayor Kingstown Wednesday. We got the coldest winter ever. Make sure y'all, if y'all in the book club, this is the book that we're reading. This is the first installment, the first book, the coldest winter ever. And we're gonna be talking about that. So please be sure to there's someone actually reading it on YouTube. So if you want to do that, you could, have somebody read it to you, or you could download the audible. Okay? So that's what we doing. What you got going on, Tamika?
uh, well, later today we are gonna be back on for House of the Dragon and then the Shah.
Mm,
Um, I got my
yeah.
sisters on Wednesday, I think, and I'll be joining Moochie for the Mayor of Kingstown, and then we just keep it going and keep going again, right?
Round and round it. All
Yeah.
right. So I want to thank everybody for coming through. Uh Let me see. I want to know how Armand has Lestat personal vampire number to be calling him up in the 70s. But for him to do that, he could have did that all along. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
He hasn't contacted him before.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. Do
Exactly.
y'all think we gonna get a backstory with that? Because now, look, we got Lestat side, we had Louis side, and a little bit of Armand. Are we gonna get most of it again? And do you think that Louis really ran up on that roof like that because he drank Daniel Malloy because he had all of them drugs in his system?
I don't know. Louis was no. Well, it really felt like he got upset once he brung up Claudia and said, the stat never loved you, and the girl didn't need the Claudia didn't need the, and then he started remembering stuff from Paris, and it seemed like it just took him into,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Um, what did y'all know? Zion from Power Book 2 is Bunny General from Mayor Kingstown season 1. I didn't even notice that. Do
Say
you
that again.
think they're gonna turn Daniel? No, I was reading Matthew's comment.
Hmm.
I don't know if they're gonna turn Daniel. That's what I want to know. I want to know if they're
Yeah,
gonna
that's what
turn him, if
I'm
they're gonna
thinking they
take
was
him
gonna
out.
turn. It's either they
Hmm.
gonna turn him or they gonna take him out.
Hmm.
Because remember, Raglan is like, why don't you give me the book to publish it? And to me, this is my theory I'm gonna put out. I think Raglan is with Lestat. I think they all in cahoots together because they can't let that story get out.
Hmm.
And I think he's either part of Armand's thing, but he's acting like he's not, or he's with Lestat's people. I for some reason I just see him. I see him with Lestat's people. All
He
right.
sure do know a lot. I don't know. And for him to say, you worried about Armand. but you should be worried
You need to
about the
worry about
other
the
one.
other one.
Yeah, he obviously knows something. It's gonna be very interesting, y'all. I can't wait to see this next episode.
Okay. So she said, I hope next season they replay season one, but from the stats point of view, that would really be interesting. I don't think they're going to, because it's like we got that version
Hmm.
during the play. They showed
Yeah.
they little parts. Like the part where he turned Claudia, we didn't know all of that
Hmm.
happened. We just know he
Yeah.
came there with her and he was begging her for a couple minutes and he was saying no, but it wasn't like it seemed like it was more. He didn't explain it like that. It came in a different way.
Yeah. If
And I think Claudia,
anything, one thing I would have liked to see more, like you know how in the movie we saw Lestat, looking all messed up and him having to go through the healing process. I wouldn't have mind if they would have showed us more of that, because you figure we haven't seen Lestat until when he finally showed back up here, at the play. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like a lot of the way that they're breaking it down in the show. But if it was anything that I still wanted to see, it would have probably just been like, how he was making out, how he healed up and all of that kind of stuff. But I also know it's a TV show and we can only fit but so much into it. But they may have some different flashes back and forth
I
with
could see
certain
that
things
happening.
in the next season. Yeah.
I could see that happening.
Hmm.
Daniel definitely isn't leaving the same way he came. I know that's right. I think Amar will turn Daniel and Raglan will end up leading Lestat there in the present day. I think so, but for him to say that's the other one you should be afraid of,
Hmm.
we about to see why.
Oh yeah.
We about to see why, yo. And but I
Because
know Louis gonna mess it up.
yeah, we know Louis could turn up. That we know. I don't even think he realizes how powerful he is sometimes, because once he get in that zone, he just get there and then he just be ready to go.
Because
He just give.
what did he say in the beginning? He didn't practice restraint,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's learning.
Yes.
And San Francisco was a time when he lost it, but you got to look at it like this too. He was under the influence. We didn't know that back then.
Mm-hmm. And now they done took out, Claudia. That is not gonna be nothing to talk about. It's a whole different ball game.
I
Yeah.
know. But that's why I think he's gonna talk to him, because let's say if we go by the movie,
Mm-hmm.
they skipped San Francisco and then they showed them in today's time. So we
Right.
got and then in the movie, Lestat took Daniel and he was like, now you gonna get my version of it.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
then that's how it ended.
Yes.
But
Yes.
this time we kind of got it there.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about him when he was talking to Lestat, when he was talking to when they talked about Claudia, Lestat was sitting in the room with them.
Mm, I just
Was that
don't
all
know
Louis
if
said?
that's still. I don't know if that's just Louis now seeing him again, because he wasn't seeing him for a long time, and maybe just bringing this up now has him seeing him again, or if he was actually there. But I do feel like now that you brought up that part about what happened in the movie and Daniel Malloy, I could see a situation where he's thinking he got this book all finished and he leaves and the stat pops up, wherever the heck he at, like, and now, you know what I mean? You got
He
to
gonna
deal with
pop up
me.
right at that sushi restaurant because he be going out. Did you notice that Louis don't be going out?
Yes. Yes.
So
I
do you
did
think that
notice
was part
that.
of the banishment thing? But they look, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't. I wanna. I don't know. I was like, I noticed that he don't go out no more,
Mm-hmm.
and he's confined to the house. Okay, you said it looks like Louis was hallucinating again. Okay.
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, because my thing is I don't know if Louis doesn't go out because of that being his own doing, that he just don't want to go out and he pretty much makes that sure that he have everything that he needs in there, and then Armand, is the one that goes to do whatever he gonna do. or if it's something that Armand has done to him that makes it where he stays there. That's what I'm curious to know. But I don't know if they're gonna go that deep into it and let us know, because we definitely see that he does not leave there at all.
Right, right.
I feel like he's his prisoner, Lenora. I honestly do.
I
That's
think
what I
so
want to know.
too. He was
He don't
also
even know it.
What about this part? He was also using drugs. If you think about it, all of the folks he fed on in the 70s were drug addicts.
Yeah,
And,
and he had a suitcase full of every different kind of drug. There was
Mhm.
to me. For real. Mm.
Okay, Louis is Armand's prisoner. Armand is not allowing Louis out of that penthouse.
Yeah,
You called
that's
it
how
nuh-uh.
I
He said
feel.
loony. All right, so
Oh wow,
yeah.
you never watched the movie or read the book, Matthew? Yeah. Well, that's one thing I like about the series is that you can watch it if you never did either one and still be able to enjoy it and get into it. And if
Yeah.
you have watched it, to me, you still can enjoy it, even though there'll be some people that are complaining. But I think they're doing a well job. This is not one of the things where I'm like, oh, they didn't do this like the book, or they didn't do this like the movie. I've still been able to enjoy it for how it is. I still think they're doing a good job, but I read the book a long time ago. I don't really remember every single thing from it, but I did, and I saw the movie a long time ago. Like I said, I know I got it somewhere in here. We used to be watching that thing on a regular,
I
but I
agree.
like this aspect of the show.
I agree. I like this version of it better to me because it's more
Mm-hmm.
details.
It's more detailed, yeah. They can go into a little bit more because it's like episode by episode, whereas a movie is gonna be like an hour and a half, 2 hours. You gotta pick which pieces you're gonna talk about. So I feel like they could go into a little bit more.
Um.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I read that one. I told y'all Lewis was a dealer in the 70s. This is business during that time period. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
He
Well, he
was.
said, "I'm a hustler, baby." He told Armand, "Listen, I know how to run things."
Well, look, he knew how to do that. He's good with the artwork too.
Yes.
He took
Mm-hmm.
that up in Paris. So
Yes.
he's probably like an art dealer because you seen how they was
Mm-hmm.
trading pieces and stuff like that.
Yes.
This
Mm-hmm.
show is better than the movie. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I saw the movie, but the show is so much better. I agree. You get so much more details.
Yes.
All right, so please be sure to keep y'all notifications on. Come back on through at 7:05. We're gonna be doing the House of Dragons with Nita the Diva. So
Mm-hmm.
keep y'all notifications on. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank you, Lenore, Angela Helper, Matthew Wilson. Look, we might do the rewatch on the original Interview with a Vampire. So keep that going, and because we are gonna do it when this season is over. When we have like a break with downtime, we'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Take care. Thanks for coming out, y'all.
All right, y'all.
Ew.